Welcome to a new video. Thanks for visiting my channel, The Fishing Bloggers, and today we are going to be doing an in focus. And today's product we're going to be looking at is the Cyprinus Max Headroom Typhoon in khaki ripstop. It's an amazing shelter. I've had it for a few months. I absolutely love it, and I thought I'd give you an in-depth review. I'm going to set it up, show you the full bivvy, walk around, show you how much space is inside, and basically show you how I use it in my fishing. I'm going to give you a video of setting it up and also taking it down, so you can have an idea of how quick it goes up, how quick it goes down, and also how much space you've got if you do decide to get one. It is an amazing bit of kit, and I highly recommend getting yourself one. Before we get into the video, if you are new, remember to subscribe to the channel and check out the social medias at the bottom of your screen now, and remember to follow us. But anyway, let's go and have a look at it and get into the video. I've got myself a new bivvy, and it was to replace the Tracker V2. I had a V2 brolly, and it was just not big enough. It was one of the standard ones, and I was forever getting my head whacked, like touching my head on the surface. I was forever getting condensation, so everything would always get damp. I'd end up brushing my head on the roof, and I'd end up with a wet head, and it just didn't have enough room generally around it. I've also got a new bed, so I've got a much bigger bed now. I've got the Avid Benchmark X, and it is a big bit of kit, and I ended up buying that because I basically upgraded the shelter, so I had plenty of room to be able to get a bigger bed. And with having the power barrow now, I haven't really got to worry too much about weight, because it kind of does the job for me. So I thought I'd just quickly turn it around and show you what I've got. So there she is. So that is the Cyprinus Typhoon Max Headroom in khaki green. And this is the ripstop version, so it's a much thicker material, and it's very, very waterproof. The rain just beads off of it, and you can actually just wipe it down. It is very, very impressive. So at the moment, as you can see, I've got the fronts rolled back. The reason for that is to get a bit of air inside, because it is a bit muggy today. But also it lets a little bit more light in. So these are solid panels that roll back on here. It's the same material as this. And when they're rolled down, it's quite dark in there, because you've only got light coming through that main door section. And so what I do is I just roll them back when it's dry, and as you can see, it allows a lot more light in, and yeah, it just makes it a little bit less dark. It's a little bit dark over there because obviously the sun's not coming from that way, but yeah, it just gives you a lot more light inside. Now I've got my little Corum chair. That's like my day chair that I use for fishing. It's actually not got long enough legs. As you can see, it is floating at the moment because the bed's so high. But that's obviously just to prevent my back from getting sore, as I've had issues with my back in the past, which is another reason I decided to get a bigger bed and bigger bivvy, is because this one's really, really high. There's loads of room above my head in there. It's probably a good sort of 8 inches at least above my head, if not more. Yeah, you've got a lot of space in there, so you can sit up perfectly straight on the bed when you're sat on a chair like that, and you don't touch the ceiling, which is really nice. But everything you can see comes supplied. So basically you get the storm poles, you get the pegs, you get different fronts to go on the door. So you've got like a clear panel, a mozzie panel, and also a solid panel which go onto the front. You have these storm poles provided, which are magnetic. So basically inside here you've got a little cap which you screw onto the screw thread, and it's got a magnet on there, so you can just slot it on and it just clips in place. So you haven't got to screw these on every time. You just leave the caps attached to this section, and it means that when you go to set it up, you just literally just lift this up, it slots in there, and it just holds it in there. And this is held under tension, so when you extend the storm pole, it holds it nice and solid. I haven't actually got it really locked in at the moment because it's not that windy, but yeah, it holds it really, really solid. The design of it, if you look, it's got these legs, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that go all the way around, and it is exactly like a Tempest. It's basically designed around the Tempest. So when it's all rolled up, it folds down to a half length of one of these, so it splits here. So obviously that then folds back on itself, and so it's almost sort of the length of one of those half legs. And basically when you get it out, you unfold it, slot these all together, put the legs together, fan them all out, and then you essentially put these additional arms into the block here. So on the Tempest, you pull it over. You've got like a cam mechanism that pulls over, and then it kind of goes into a little collar around here. On this one, what you've got is these 3 separate mini arms which are adjustable, and basically they slot onto 3 little notches here, and then you just extend them and then lock them in place, so you can have it under as much tension as you can. You can obviously really extend these fully and have it really taut, or like I've done, I've just sort of lobbed it on there and put it up. But yeah, that's how that works. You've got your standard rod holder on each side, just obviously a little bit of spare material, a little bit of a Velcro fastening, and you've got one on the other side. I've got the spod rod linked against that at the moment. You've obviously got the front windows, like I've said, which are just mozzie. You don't get a clear panel on them. That is just a mozzie. It's not even infill. It is just, that is sewn in, and then this just folds back, and you've got a zip. It zips down and then velcros at the bottom. If I come around the side, so every single panel, you might be able to see, it's got a window, and that window is a mozzie mesh. So basically you can roll this all the way up. These are zipped in underneath, and you can unzip that side, unzip the other side. You can then roll that up, and it's got some elastic underneath here. There you go, it's got some elastic toggles, and then it just holds it up underneath this flap, and then you've basically got a mozzie panel, and you've got that on every side. So the whole thing, you can roll all of these up, and you've got airflow going through the whole thing. And I am really bad in warm weather. I really struggle with heat, and having got this shelter, I've really got on, well, much better. I've found it really comfortable, because what I can do is I can open the front panels, have the door up, and then you might be able to see them there. There you go, you can see the mozzie, the mesh that's sewn in. You can have each one of these open, so you've got one there, and then you've got one there and one there. You can roll them all up, and so you've got all that airflow that can pass through, and you can sit in there in the shade with a load of air going through it, and it is very cool. It stops you getting really hot, so it's actually really nice. So I don't mind fishing in such warm weather now. It's actually a lot more comfortable. And yeah, they go all the way around. You've got your little Cyprinus logo on the back. But that's it basically. It's basically like a Tempest, generally speaking. Now when you go inside, and hopefully there's enough light to show you this, but up here you might be able to see you've got a separate skin. So this comes supplied. This is an additional extra, and this is a vapor shield. So as you can see, I can get my hand in the back of there, and there's probably half an inch to an inch gap, and that goes around the whole of the top, and that is essentially a vapor shield. And the idea of that is it stops the condensation, and it works. It really does work. Very nice idea, and it's really simple. It's just got these little toggles. Don't know why you can see them, but it's got these little toggles that go through some little rings that are sewn in, and before you set it up, you attach the vapor shield, put it all in, and then when you set it up, it's obviously already in there ready to go. So you don't have to remove it when you pack it down. It stays all inside, and yeah, it's a really nice idea. That I really like it. It's made a huge difference to how comfortable it can be inside here. Now, room wise, it's got loads of room. So that is the Avid Benchmark X, which is an extra large bed chair. It's absolutely massive, and as you can see, I've got plenty of space down there. On the other side I've got more. You can see I've got even more space that side, and the reason for that is I have the head end slightly further towards the door, and then the bottom end slightly further towards the back. So that means I've got more room one end. And then what I do, if I come inside, is all my food kit and everything goes in the corner. So I've got a freezer bag, brew kit, I've also got my water, a few liquids and stuff to keep me hydrated. I've got the kettle and everything, Ridge Monkey's on top of there. And then what I do is under my bed, so if I need to get into this, I just lift the tail of the bed up, and under there I've got my barrow bag, and that is my camera bag, so that's got all my camera gear in it. And then I've got my barrow bag, which is essentially what has all my main bits of tackle and stuff, which goes in the centre of the barrow when I load it up. And then at the back I've got a spare day brolly, which is like a 50-inch brolly, and then the bag which the bivvy goes in. I put that at the back, out of the way, and that's it. So obviously you've got my GoPro, that's the tripod for the camera I'm currently holding. I've got my second larger tripod down there for my other camera in case I want to use a couple to get some different shots. And then on the other side, got a tin of cider. I've just got a bucket with some bits and bobs in, which I kind of use as like a little bit of a bivvy table, rubbish bag in the corner. Underneath I've just got my Ridge Monkey mini buckets, so one of them's got my solid bag kit in, and one of them's got my just some pellet and what I call my sort of standard rigs, standard setup, and then the stuff on top of it essentially goes in that bucket. Got an umbrella because I hate wearing waterproof, so if I can get away with it, I just use an umbrella if I need to go out in the rain, and just hold the umbrella while I'm out in the rain instead of having to put waterproofs on, because when it's warm I find it so uncomfortable trying to wear waterproofs. I find you end up so hot and sweaty, you get just as wet inside the waterproof as you do on the outside. Then at either end you've got a little pocket which you can put a few essentials in. I've got my car key and that in there at the moment, and I've got my remote for the camera for doing photography, and then you've obviously got one down the other end as well down there. You do get a ground sheet supplied. I'm not using the actual main ground sheet because it is quite big, and what I find with full ground sheets is they end up getting really dirty, so I use a half ground sheet. So that is a Think and Angler's barrow cover, ground sheet, whatever you want to call it. I've got two of those, so I have one at this end, and that's where all my essentials go. So obviously I've got my camera kit and everything down there. I want it to stay dry, so I put one just at one end of the bivvy, which normally is at the tail end of my bed, and that's where I keep all of that stuff. And then at the top end I don't have one because up here I've just got buckets, so if it gets a little bit damp up there it really doesn't bother me. And that is the setup. So yeah, it's a lovely bit of kit. With practice you could probably get it up in a couple of minutes fully, you know, you really could. Pegged out and everything, probably a couple of minutes at the most I would have thought. It's really, really nice. Obviously if you want to put the proper ground sheet in, it's got a zip, so it will take you a lot longer to do that. That takes a bit of messing around, which is another reason I don't use it. But yeah, fantastic bit of kit. I know that was quite a long bit of a video segment, but I just wanted to show you it and let you see what it was like. So it is a lovely bit of kit, and it's really, really worth the price tag. So I think retail it's about £500 odd, £550. But what I would suggest yourselves doing is Cyprinus do an online auction. So every day, I think it's every day or possibly every Friday, but they have an online auction where you can bid on items of their kit. So they put up selected items, they might have say 4 or 5 items on the evening, and you can bid on them up till 10 PM I believe. And I basically did that on this. So I actually bid on this, and I happened to do it on a day where it didn't seem like anyone else was bidding, because I ended up getting it for a really good price. I think I got it for just shy of 400 quid in the end. So I basically saved 150 quid off the actual retail price of this thing. So I was really, really chuffed with that. And the retail price in itself I would have been fine with, because having used it, it's definitely worth the money. But the fact that you can bid on them on auctions, I think it's a brilliant idea, and it's a really good way of creating some extra business, which is obviously why they do it. But yeah, I'd recommend checking out the auctions, because you never know, you might be able to get yourself a bit of a bargain like I did. But yeah, if you're interested in it, it's the Cyprinus Typhoon Max Headroom in khaki ripstop. And yeah, go and have a look and see what you think. So there you go then, the Cyprinus Typhoon Max Headroom absolute fantastic shelter. I absolutely love it. It's really, really good. I highly recommend it. So if you are interested, go and check one out for yourselves and give it a go. You won't be disappointed. It is a fantastic bit of kit. Now, if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit the subscribe button before you go, and also check out our other social media platforms shown at the bottom of the screen now. Until next time, get out there and be lucky, and I'll see you again soon.